What's up, guys? This is what I'm gonna make today. Got the Sparkfun PRT-00114 breadboard power supply. 5 volt switchable to 3.3 volts. I got some solder. I have liquid flux and a pin. And I got also some flux paste. I'm going to be using my TS101 soldering iron, and I have some very regular helping hands. In the kit we have the circuit board, classic Sparkfun red. It's labeled. That's how we're going to know where most everything goes. What do we got? We got a capacitor, we got some LEDs, we have a couple resistors, 4 resistors, we have some breadboard pins, we got a MOSFET, I believe, we got a diode, a different size capacitor. Here we got Sparkfun's page for this kit. It's the same kit we're going to be doing. So I went ahead and got to it. I got started with the DC jack, just following the silk screen. You can see my solders. Maybe you can see them. It's not bad. I like that you can see on the other side, so that makes me think I got a pretty good joint going. And that should work, no problem there. Working with what I got, I kind of just set that like that. I used the cap of the tinner tin to kind of evenly set that down. I was trying to get it in the jaws of my helping hands over here, but the helping hands are a little bit too small. So just work with what you got, guys. So I got this 100 UF, that's 100 microfarad, 25 volt capacitor. Looks like it's gonna go in that slot right there. And you see the negative is marked. And on the capacitor, we find the negative, that rectangle right there on this golden stripe is actually telling me that that leg, the shorter leg, is going to be my negative. So the first capacitor is on there. And I think that'll work. Should be alright. It's on there pretty good. I clipped off the excess wire. Oh yeah. So I think I want to understand the little switches. There's 2 of them. One of them will be used for switching power on and off, and one of them will be used for switching between 5 volt and 3.3 volt. I believe they're the same though. I think they're just 2 position switches. They got a nice click to them. Very nice. That one little dash mark is the only marking I can see. And they both have it. I'm talking about this little mark right here. So I think it's on purpose. I'll figure out what that is a little bit more before I install those. Alright, so I'm going to use a multimeter to identify my different resistors. The breakout board, it looks like we have a 240 ohm resistor, a 290 ohm resistor, and 2 330 ohm resistors. None of them are labeled. You could refer to a color chart, or if you have a multimeter, you could just test the resistance. So like on this one, I'm gonna try to do this. We're getting about 326.8 ohms. So that's roughly 330. These two are together, so I'm assuming they should match. We're getting 330.9. That one's the most on spec right there. 330.9, 330.8. So both of these are going to be my 330 ohm. I'll do the same, find out which one's which out of those two, and solder them where they need to go. We're back, people. I don't know if I should record like that. I should probably record like this. I made a fresh cup of coffee. That's what I did. I'm getting ready to solder both of the 330 ohm resistors. I'm bending them. Let's see if I can rotate this a little. Whoop. I bend the legs to kind of hold them in place nice and tight, kind of nice as flush as possible. And then I've been, of course, clipping off the excess leg once it's on there. I've been, for the most part, 100% soldering from the back. So that's all nice. You can see it. You might be able to solder the resistors. They have... I might try soldering one of those from the front. Maybe not. Maybe that's not a good idea. But everything else, the capacitors, the DC jack, I've been soldering everything else from the back. The second capacitor, I was much more happy with the solder joints on that one. Oh yeah, do you guys like slurp sounds? Oh my god, that's good. Looks like my soldering iron is taking a break. Cool. Nice, okay. So I have my soldering iron. Let's see. Oh, dango.
What are you trying to make?
Temporary nonsense. I'm about to solder.
What's the solder?
No, he doesn't say remember the melting.
What I'm doing right now
Oh, melting thing.
is the act of soldering. There we go. Okay, so it's kicking on right now to 290 Celsius.
Okay.
Is what I've been soldering at. We're gonna let this get high. See, it's getting hotter and hotter.
Whoa.
100 Celsius. This thing, I'm really happy with the TS101. He heats up pretty quick. I can kind of smell it. And I'm gonna dip it in that stuff.
Oh, nice.
And what stuff? That stuff?
Yeah, this is my tip tinner. I think it kind of cleans the tip. And I think it's also basically solder though. This kind of wets the tip and cleans it at the same time. So I'm over 200. I'm gonna dip it in. I don't know if you can see.
No, we can't.
What's up? Put your hands up there.
And there we go.
Oh, nice.
Hold on, give it a couple dabs. So now it's nice and clean, you
That's
see?
what that's for.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Nice
see.
and clean.
Okay.
And I have my soldering wire. Which
Soldering
this
wire.
is silver and a little bit of lead and a little bit of flux.
I can see it, but I...
Okay, perfect.
Good
Good
job,
job.
Bob.
That's a good angle right there.
see it.
So I'm gonna heat
What
it
the?
up.
The red checkerboard.
You see him melting it, Ava?
What do you mean?
Let me do it. You look at him. Look more into him. What he's doing.
So I'm gonna hold it right there on the wire I wanna get. I'm gonna put a little bit. And gotta be patient, gotta be careful. And it's gonna go right in there.
Wow.
And I'm gonna go to this one.
Oh.
There we go. Then go to this one. moving and grooving here. Got the next two resistors. Go ahead and clip this little extra wire off. And that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and put on the diode. So this is gonna be our diode, guys. I'm gonna put it right there. Looks like where it should go. The diode only allows voltage to flow one direction. So seems like we would definitely need a diode in this case. So the supplied breadboard pins, we're gonna cut in half so we have 2 pieces of 2, and those are gonna go over here on our output. Right here are grounded voltage, and right here, and I'm gonna be putting them so that they're facing down, so that the longer legs of the breadboard pins will be facing down, so that then I'll be able to push this power supply board onto a breakout board later on. Looking at the website, you see how they have the pins pointing down so that you could use it to supply power to a breadboard for other projects. And that's what I'm going to be doing with this. This is definitely just a building block power supply board that I can then use for specifically the Raspberry Pi Pico. I'm going to be doing some projects with that, and maybe some other things. We'll see, but you know, you got to put power to your project somehow. So this is definitely a good way to get started. I was cooking and moving, I got the 0.1 microfarad capacitor on there. I got the PTC, which is our, what is that called again? Positive temperature something. Thermosistor as well. The diode came out pretty good. I got the MOSFET on there. That LM317. There we go. I know on most MOSFETs we have a gate, a supply, and a drain. But I was looking at specifically the pinout for the LM317, and they're calling it adjust pin 1 voltage out, voltage in. So I don't know if that's really, if they're just calling the gate 1 is your adjust, or we'll see how that works out. Alright guys, so I checked it out with the multimeter. I know the short leg is my ground or my negative, and I don't really see a negative marking on here. I guess you're supposed to tell just because the one side of this circle is flattened, the flat side where it says power, that's actually has continuity with the ground pin of the DC jack. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this LED like this with the short ground leg towards the flat side of that circle.